Hi there, it's Brendan here from 68 Series Fishing, and here are 6 tips that I use that I think help me find the best places and the best times to fish. And when you combine those together, you give yourself a greater chance of finding those really good fish. These apps are easy accessible by any phone and they're free. So here we go, let's have a look at them. Firstly, what do brim like? This is very important. This is the important part. And this is what you need to look for. Wind, shade, structure, and water movement. Right, tip number 1. Google Earth and finding structure. You look on Google Earth and you can scan on any river. You can have a look to see what sort of structure there is hanging in that water or over it. And this gives you a massive advantage to see, hey, where do I want to launch and what do I want to attack? Do I want drop-offs? Do I want flats? Do I want structure? Do I want bridges? So in here you can pinpoint those areas and then navigate to them. Tip number 2. Again, Google Earth and distance. If you're in a boat, if you're in particular tournament fishing, or you just launch somewhere and you go, I know where I want to fish, but I don't know how far it is. You can pick your launch site, and let's see if it's, hey, we launched here. Just an example. Then I can click one of 2 icons, either the top right hand corner there, the second one in for the right, there's a ruler and its measurement, or down the bottom left hand, there's a thing called measure, and that'll give me this. There's actually a measurement app, I suppose, within the app. And I can measure my distance between points by just pressing the add point button. And I can continue this all the way along the app till I get to an area that I want to fish. And I can see that's 883 meters. With that, if I'm in a boat, 5 knots, it's going to take me about 6 minutes. In a kayak, if I'm pedaling or paddling, it's going to take me a lot longer. But I can determine how long it'll take me to get there. Right, tip number 3, back on Google Earth, and this time using the compass and finding where the shade will be. So on the bottom right hand corner there, you'll see a little icon that shows a compass. Now you can, if you're a little bit askew, you can press that compass and it'll always point you north. So I can have a look at this, the river, look at this one river, and here's an area I want to fish. So I can zoom in there and see there's a lot of shade in there. I've got the compass pointing north. That means, as we know, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. So I know that this left-hand bank here is going to be one getting the most shade in the morning. Right-hand bank has the most shade in the evening. Tip number 4, river water levels. Now these are important because if the river's in flood, then obviously you probably don't want to fish it, you want to go somewhere else. Secondly, you want to see whether there's been a lot of water introduced in the system just lately, and that would mainly be caused if there's been a lot of rain, and there'll be a lot of freshwater runoff, and of course brim don't like freshwater. Freshwater travels down fast over the top of brackish water, so it makes conditions hard to fish. So we can have a look at that here. So let's have a look. Say, example, I want to go down the Blackwood River. So I pan down to the Blackwood River. There's one there at the caravan park, which I know where that is. I know it's a good area. And I can look at all these reports, and one of them is plot stage levels for the last 6 days. So have a look at that. And we can see over the last 6 days that the river's been constantly dropping ever so slowly. It's not a huge drop, but that to me tells me there hasn't been a huge increase in water levels, means there's not been a lot of rain. And that's basically going to be a good thing for fishing this river. Tip number 5, a simple one, Willy Weather. So a simple weather app. This can tell you a lot of things about the day you're going to experience when you're out there. So as you can see in here, this is for WA, but you can obviously do it for any part of this, any state. It's looking mainly cloudy for the next 4 days, which is perfect for brim fishing because brim don't like sunshine. So if I was going to look at Saturday, click on Saturday, I can see what the general conditions are going to be, if there's any rainfall, predicted rainfall, how windy it's going to be, which is just a general idea, moon phases, and other bits and pieces in this app. These are important because these will dictate to somewhat how productive your day can be on the water. Tip number 6, Windy. Again, another simple app, and I use this to show me direction of wind, which is really important because if I look in this app, I go over to Perth, zoom into the Swan River, I'll be able to see what the direction of wind will be on even a certain hour of the day. And this, of course, is all predicted, but it's not too bad. So if I go to an area I think I'd like to fish, I'll click on it. It'll tell me it's going to be 14 knots. At the moment, it should be 14 knots. So if I go over to Saturday where I'm going to fish, Saturday, going to start at 7 o'clock. I can see it's going to be 7 knots and it's going to be across that bank. As you can see, it's going to cross the bank. If I go further up during the day, I can just press the play button if I want. And you can see it's going to change. So if we just go back a bit, we can see it's now going to be blowing into that bank at 12 knots at about 2 o'clock. And that's ideal for me because there's a good flats that I know of. And that's going to be an ideal area to fish because wind blowing on that bank will blow bait fish on that bank and will basically be more productive. Well, there you go. That's my 6 tips for using apps for finding better fish, better locations. Now, if you'd like to like and subscribe, that would really help the channel and I'd really appreciate it. But if you just want to watch, I'm happy with that too. But shortly, hopefully, there'll be a lot more videos coming up on making soft plastic lures, hard bodies, painting them, and a lot of other stuff, as well as a lot of fishing. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, hope you got something out of it. Have a great day.